Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we start the session? The session is focusing on the artificial turf and its properties. And we have three now speakers, and I am first speaker, so I'm going to talk about the shock absorbency of the long pile turf. Down the right, please. Oh, it's too much. As a first speaker, I would like to show the history of artificial turf briefly. As far as I know, the first artificial turf was used in baseball stadium, Astrodome, in 1966, USA. There was multi-use artificial turf you can see on the bottom. Oh, where's the pointer? Oh, sorry. You can see in the bottom, it's like a carpet, relatively thick. We call that first generation. So in 1970s, second generation. This has a longer pile and the sound infill. In Europe, this type of turf was widely spread for hockey clubs because this turf has more flat. And in Japan, in my country, it's very unique because this type of second generation artificial turf is mainly used for tennis court. But this is not usual, it's not common in other countries. Recently, we got the third generation. Actually, this is our university's playground. Our university already has a 3G turf in the playground. And this feature is, the third generation has even longer pile, up to 60 or 70 millimeters, and having sand and rubber combined infills. It's very durable. And when the snow has come, but we remove the snow, so we can spray quickly, very. So the 3G turf has been used widely, spread in football court, in particular for soccer and rugby. Major soccer organization and rugby organization recently accepted 3G turf for official and international tournament. Actually, in the last World Cup in South Africa, a hybrid type of artificial turf has been already used. However, we still have a doubt. They are still unsteady for players and among players and coaches. Some of the mechanical characteristics artificial turf surface may link sports injuries. One study revealed the male player still had negative overall impression and felt greater physical effort requirements when they play on 3G turf. There are many factors for selecting a surface. Oh, sorry. Sorry for the sound. Sound is coming very soon. So, of many properties, shock absorbency is very important. As you can see, during the match, some big players might landing with awkward posture, or some other players try to add some artificial component on football. So anyway, we try to measure the shock absorbency of switchy tube. So we conducted a series of 3 experiments. The first, the validity of the standard test was re-examined. So because several studies already suggested that this test doesn't reflect actual human loading on the surface during sports. The second experiment is human subject to obtain the baseline on human hard landing. They are instructed to perform the landing from the likely height 55 centimeters to the 3D turf surfaces with minimal shock attenuation. Actually, they are my students, so they have no option to refuse my experiment. Anyway, so, and finally, we try to develop a new testing procedure using this testing rig and try to reproduce the load similar to hard landing. So let's move on to experiment 1. The validity of the standard test was re-examined. This test has a spring inside to stimulate the human action. When this test was conducted on a surface like asphalt, as you can see, clear one peak we can obtain. But we are not sure how much this type of clear one peak property was obtained for the 3D tiles with different layers. So we provided the 3D tile trays like this, and with different component of infills, sand only and sand rubber layers. There's 4 layers and 2 layers, and all rubbers only, but the grain size were different. And also, finally, new concept. So this is the result of the standard test. I can say it's awful. Sorry for the busy slide, because you can see the line in blue, the 3D turf with sand infill. Only the 3D turf with sand will show the clear one peak like this. But for the others, as you can see, there are multiple peaks during loading. In particular, you can look at the first peak, because the first peak was occurred exactly same time and with same magnitude over different types of 3D turfs. And then next point is, you can see the load was down to 0. It means, you know, the weight and load cell was separated. Also, you can see the many peaks, and it's quite hard to distinguish between the type of 3D turfs when we're looking at the peaks. So this is a standard test, and yeah, let me explain this part. This schema is analyzed this part. This test using a 20K weight down to roll cell from the 55 millimeters. The roll cell was onto the surface, but this springs works when the base, the surface is very rigid, but the 3D turf is very soft, so the roll cell was shaking during loading. So the value of the magnitude was very unreliable, I think. So now move on to experiment 2, the base level or baseline human hard landing. As you can see this picture, they landed with minimal shock attenuation. And the underneath force platform measure their force profile. Yes, this is a force. This is examples. As you can see, when the human landing hard on switchy turf, create one peak with very high magnitude. It's more than 10,000 Newton, the peak obtained. So when we look at the force profile of the standard test, you can see it's completely different. The magnitude was not large enough, and also the time is different. So the previous study suggested the standard test is not good enough. Yeah, I believe it. So we got the findings so far. The current standard test was found to be not appropriate to evaluate the shock absorbency of the switchy turf. In particular, for likely acute high loading by human sports action like hard landing. So some new tests are in need to adequately evaluate shock absorbency of switchy turfs. So, but we a little bit think about how to reproduce this type of very big peak and very long contacting time. If we try to reproduce the magnitude with similar contact time, we need a similar momentum. That means we must have a bigger machines. So, but I don't want to do that. So anyway, we have a choice to take a contacting time or magnitude. So my choice was somehow to get the magnitude. The contact time was even similar, but anyway, as a first step, we tried to reproduce the magnitude of human landing. So this is a test ring. It's very simple test ring, and using the potential energy to at impact on the surface. Yeah, now you can see how it works. It's very simple and mobile, and we try to measure some property out field. So anyway, using this test, we try to measure the shock absorbency of the switchy turfs. Sorry for the busy slide. So all graphs were shown against the red line in red. Line in red, the change of the most typical type of switchy turfs with sand and rubber infill with 4 layers. As you can see, the sand in line purple, the sand infill showed a very higher peak and very steep loading. And as you can see on the right, these two changes are measured by sand rubber combined switchy turfs, but the number of layers was only different. But as you can see, the switchy turf with 2 layers has higher peak and steeper loading rate. Also, as you can see, we can very much distinguish the peaks in compared to the standard test. We can distinguish the peaks using this testing ring, and also the loading rates. The loading rates were clearly distinguished.